Imagine a war where the real battlefield wasn't trenches. It was bank vaults. A war fought not by soldiers, but by the world's richest families. A war where every bullet fired was tied to a loan, and every explosion created profit. This is the hidden financial battle behind World War I. And trust me, it's darker than any history book ever told you. To understand this shadow game, you have to erase the idea that WW1 was just politics and alliances, because if you look carefully, money was the real trigger. Not nationalism, not borders. Money. And the ones who controlled this money controlled the war. Our story begins with a single name whispered in every European capital. Rothschild. By the early 1900s, this banking dynasty wasn't just rich, they controlled entire governments through debt. They had branches in London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, meaning they could fund both sides of a conflict and still win. And WW1 gave them the biggest opportunity in history. But they weren't alone. Another rising financial empire wanted the same throne. J.P. Morgan. Yes, the same man who practically built Wall Street. Two financial titans, secretly positioned behind two blocks, ready to go to war. Europe thought they were preparing armies, but these men were preparing ledgers. Because war is chaos, but for bankers, chaos is business. And this business was about to explode. When Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, the world thought it was a political spark. But behind the scenes, bankers saw something else. A chance to reshape global power. Governments panicked, bankers didn't. They'd already been lending money to nations upgrading their militaries for years. Britain wanted battleships, Morgan Ilped France wanted artillery, Rothschild financed. Germany wanted new rail lines for troop movement. Private banks stepped in. Because every weapon bought meant interest earned. The world marched into war, and bankers marched into profit. But the real game had only just begun. The moment war was declared, countries ran out of cash. Fast. Armies needed food, bullets, fuel, uniforms. Ships every second, and guess who had the money to provide it? The men sitting far away from the battlefield. In 1914, Britain was so desperate that it handed control of its entire war supply purchases to J.P. Morgan. Yes. An American banker became the official buyer for the British Empire. Morgan handled billions in transactions and earned commissions on every single one. The longer the war lasted, the richer he got. And to keep it going, he needed one thing. Credit. Endless, unstoppable credit. Meanwhile, in Europe, the Rothschild network quietly did the same. They arranged loans for France, then for Russia, then for Italy. They played the financial chessboard like grandmasters. But here's the twist no one sees. These bankers weren't fighting each other. They were collaborating, because no matter who won the war, the lenders always win. If a country survived, they paid back with interest. If they lost, the winner took responsibility for their debt. Either way, money flowed upward, and that's the game people never talk about. A game where warriors die, but wealth multiplies. By 1916, something unbelievable was happening. The United States, still neutral, was supplying 40% of Allied weapons. But the U.S. government wasn't paying for it. Private bankers like Morgan were. Loans became lifelines. Billions crossed the Atlantic, and with every shipment, one thing became obvious. If the Allies lost, Morgan would collapse. He had too much money tied to their survival. And suddenly, neutral America had a financial reason to enter the war. Guess what happened in 1917? America joined the fight, and the moment America entered, the financial outcome was sealed. Morgan's loans were safe. The Allied powers were saved. The bankers' profits exploded. War bonds were sold like candy. Citizens unknowingly paid for banker decisions. The governments gained victory. The bankers gained empires. By 1918, when the guns finally fell silent, Another battle was already over. The financial war. And the winners were not nations, not generals, not soldiers. The winners were the men who controlled the money. World War I ended on paper, but the financial power it created still runs the world today. Because the greatest wars are not fought with armies, they are fought with debt.